Every family has one. The person who gets the midnight phone call, handles the emergency paperwork, and quietly smooths over the latest crisis. From the outside, this role earns constant praise. Relatives call you dependable, the glue holding everything together, and the unshakable bedrock of the family unit. The internal reality is a depletion that runs deep. You are running on empty, carrying a private weight of guilt just for noticing your own fatigue. A public display of reliability often conceals a heavy psychological burden that goes unacknowledged by the people who rely on it most. Popular culture often portrays codependency as a loud, toxic clash of personalities. In reality, it usually lives in this quiet, relentless exhaustion. This condition manifests as a silent, chronic system, where an entire group depends on one person to maintain the status quo. This diagram illustrates a process clinical psychologists call enmeshment. It happens when you are needed so consistently that the boundary between your own desires and your family's needs fades until it is no longer visible. Love is replaced by a sense of involuntary obligation, erasing your distinct identity until only your usefulness remains. Recognizing this dynamic requires looking at specific behavioral symptoms, starting with how your empathy is distributed. You might find yourself intimately aware of how everyone else in the room is feeling, while remaining disconnected from your own emotional state. This leads to a compulsion to step in and fix things. You habitually take on logistical and emotional problems that were never yours to solve. And if you attempt to resist this compulsion, if you simply say no to a request, the psychological penalty is severe, often costing you days of lingering guilt. These behaviors form a closed loop. The system rewards you for self-neglect and emotionally penalizes you for attempting to rest. Because this loop is built into the structure of your relationships, relying on willpower alone to change your behavior rarely works. In an enmeshed family, the lines between individuals are blurred, creating a trap where your personal independence feels like a threat to the group's stability. This flowchart demonstrates the structural problem. Because the entire family system relies on your continuous output, any attempt to stop routes directly into a feeling of perceived betrayal, bypassing your need for rest. Your brain miscodes this healthy act of stepping back. It interprets self-preservation as a malicious strike against the people you care about. Since your own mind treats rest as a betrayal of duty, caring less isn't a viable solution. Moving forward requires clinical frameworks that help you retrain how you respond to these deep-seated instincts. The first step in that process is understanding that setting a boundary is a learned skill. It is not an innate personality trait you were born without. Because it is a tangible skill that can be practiced and refined, this pattern of codependency responds well to active clinical work. Therapists use specific tools to build this boundary muscle, including cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, and internal family systems. The exhaustion you are carrying is a structural issue with proven, actionable solutions rather than a permanent flaw in your character. Providing the environment to do this clinical work is the focus of coping and healing counseling. CHC is built around a culturally diverse team of over 15 licensed therapists who specialize in treating anxiety, stress, and these specific family dynamics. This map shows their coverage. They provide fully HIPAA-compliant telehealth therapy to teens and adults across the entire state of Georgia. They also address the barriers of cost. Patients with Medicaid have a $0 copay, and most commercial insurance plans run between $10 and $40 per session. If you are ready to begin building those boundaries, you can reach out today at chctherapy.com or call 404-832-0102. Being responsible for the people you love is an admirable trait, but it should never cost you your own identity.